This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. This is the place where we take your calls about your relationships, your boundaries, your career, your money, your job, and your life. It's a free call, and some say the advice is worth exactly what you pay for it. 888-825-5225. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. As we open up this hour, though, we had a good friend drop by and has a new book out, and so we asked him to sit in for a couple segments and tell us about it. The one and only Tim Tebow is with us. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you so much. So honored to be here. It's the first time I've been in the new facilities. This is incredible. It's awesome. So you guys are just crushing it and doing so much for so many people. Thank you for having me, and just thank you for what you're doing as well.
Well, thank you, brother. For those of you that don't know Tim and have only watched him from afar, he is one of the ones that is actually who he projects himself to be. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's
AKA the real deal.
He's the real deal. He's the real thing. And so if you thought that was Tim Tebow, that is actually him. We were just back in the green room a few minutes ago, hanging out, having lunch, and he's the same guy. So we're honored to have you, sir. Honored. We've been able to do a few things together over the years, and this new book, Mission Possible: Go Create a Life That Counts. Man, you have about 6 missions going at all times in your life. You're a driven guy, a crusader in a whole bunch of different areas at one time. So this is perfect. What's the driving force to do a book called Mission Possible?
Encouragement in people's worth, their value, and their purpose in life. And why I wanted to write Mission Possible was because I wanted to encourage people. One, when you know you have a mission, means you know you have purpose. And 2, when you know it's possible, you have encouragement for endurance and for stamina in your race. And I want to encourage people that it's not impossible to have a life that counts. Mm-hmm. We get to have a life that truly counts. God has made that possible. I believe He's given every single one of us purpose. He's given every single one of us a mission. A mission means a task or a job someone is given to do. And actually, the origin of the word means to send. And I believe every single one of us has been sent here for a mission, for a purpose, for a plan. And that is possible. Possible means to be able. That mission, we are able to accomplish that mission to truly make our life count. And you know, so many people are going to say, well, you know what? I think what I need to really run after is money, fame, and power, status, and all these other things. And I'm here to say you could have all those things, and you could still be empty and not really have anything, right?
Well, be careful if you run after them. You might catch them.
You might catch them. But you know what? If you run after purpose and worth and value and meaning, you might catch them too.
You might catch them too.
And I believe when you do that, you're going to truly have a life that counts.
Yeah.
So what I think is interesting is like what you just contrasted right there, right? Of like what the world, what you feel like would fill you up, you know,
that's right.
Power, fame, money, all of these things, right? It's going to make me feel better versus going after almost this not tangible side of life of value, purpose, having something that you is so much deeper. So talk about that contrasting, because you've kind of...
But that's God's economy, right? Is totally. We actually think when we give, we have less. That's not true. When we give, we actually have more in God's economy. And what's crazy is that science and studies actually back that up. We talk about one study from the University of Miami. I know they're Miami, so it's hard to mention them, but we can. You have that nasty little orange tea thing over there, whatever. We'll let it go. It's fine. That's what grace is for, guys. Honestly, it's what grace is totally fine.
Grace is for SEC football.
That's exactly right. I know. But we talk about this study, and it's fascinating because these groups write down one thing every day they're grateful for, and then other groups write down things that they don't like, and then there's different groups in here. And the group that would write down, you think it's nothing, right? One day, write down, or every day, write down one thing you're grateful for. It had a biochemical positive change in their life, in their body, from the inside out, just by writing down one thing they're grateful for. So gratitude changes your life. But also there's another study about a helper's high. When you choose to actually serve and give selflessly to other people, you also have a biochemical positive reaction from the inside out. And it's crazy. Wait a second. To actually do these things, to choose to be grateful, to choose to help, not only do I have an emotional response, but I actually have a chemical response for the better. That's crazy.
And you live longer. And you have a higher quality of life in the process.
No doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Rachel's got a gratitude journal that we put out, right?
The contentment journal.
Contentment journal.
But gratitude's one of the steps to contentment, because it is. It's like when you're able to have peace with where you're at, where God's put you. I'm like, there's a level of power there that brings.
There's
and
no
gratitude
doubt.
is that first step.
And I feel like one of the things that we're fighting right now, and we were talking about it before the show right now, is comparison. And why would you... Literally, another study came out that said 12% of our daily thoughts are spent on some form of comparison. When you are spending your life comparing yourself against other people, what you're really saying is, God, I'm not happy, I'm not grateful, I'm not content of where you put me, and I need to be like somebody else. Listen, if God wanted you to be like someone else, he would have made you like somebody else, but he didn't. He created you with a design and with a plan for to be exactly who you are and to make the most out of what he has given you. You were created in love, by love, and for love, and he has a great plan and purpose for your life. You have a mission, and that mission is possible. But before you can answer that mission, you have to know there is a mission. You have to know that I'm here on purpose. And when you know that you're here on purpose, I don't have to spend my whole life wishing I was somebody else, because the God of this universe, who is sovereign and control of all of it, in his design and in his wisdom and in his love for us, he made me who I am for a reason. And he didn't make a mistake, and he didn't make a mistake on you.
Okay, so for someone out there that's listening, and they're like, this is great, Tim. Absolutely. Gosh, I want that. I'm longing for that. Everything you're saying. Like, yes, like how does someone start? When someone does feel like that they're in this cycle of comparison or this cycle of hopelessness.
Yes.
What's the thing to be like, okay, how do I connect to my God-given design? How do I connect to my God-given
That's such a good
purpose?
question. And it's one of the things that we really try to focus on here is we talk about the principles kind of from a very, 30,000 foot view, but then we also want to get into the practical of every single day.
Yeah.
And a lot of people come and say, Timmy, how do I know what my mission, what my calling, my purpose is? And I'll first say, I don't know exactly, but have your eyes ever been open to a need, to a hurting person, to a church that's doing something too cool, to a nonprofit that you feel really strongly towards, and has your heart ever felt compassion to want to step up and do something for that hurting person, or that person in the hospital, or that person in the old folks home, or that person on the side of the street? If so, that's probably God saying, hey, I want you to go meet that need. And when you step out with that little bit of courage, with that little bit of faithfulness, with that little bit of boldness, and you do that, a lot of times you don't know the end road, the destination. But when you say yes, I feel like God shows you as you continue to grow. And you, for me, as when I was 15 years old and I was in the jungles of the Philippines, and I met a boy who was born with his feet on backwards, and because of that, he was viewed as cursed, as insignificant, as less than, and he was a throwaway. But God was like, he's not a throwaway to me, and he better not be a throwaway to you. And because of that, I knew that was my calling. And I know till my last breath that's going to be my calling, is fighting for every single boy or girl around the world like him.
Yeah.
And being obedient in the small things.
That's right. In the small things.
It's good.
Tim Tebow is our guest.
Sorry, I kind of got fired up.
It's all good. It's all good. We'll just let you loose, man. Let you run. It's good. Mission Possible is the book. Go create a life that counts. It came on sale this week. You can pick it up anywhere great books are sold. We'll be back with a little more from the man himself, Tim Tebow. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. Another #1 best-selling author and another #1 book out. Tim Tebow is with us. The new book is Mission Possible. Go create a life that counts. We'll know next week if it's a #1 technically, but I am pronouncing it now as a #1. I'm speaking.
You're too kind.
Pathetically or prophetically or something.
Speaking into existence. I hear you.
That's it. I'm with it here. So, Mission Possible. Go create a life that counts. There is this strange dance we have that mixes into this message. And around here, we always quote St. Ambrose, pray like it all depends on God.
Yes.
Work like it all depends on you.
That's right.
And so sometimes I meet people of faith who need to get off their tail and go do something.
Yes.
And sometimes I meet people of faith who are a little bit too dependent on their own power.
Correct.
And they missed out on exponential.
Yes.
Because they didn't do both.
Yeah.
You've got to do the planting so that you're going to reap what you sow. You've got to do the work. You've got to do the discipline. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but it yields a harvest of righteousness. You've got to do those things, and then God comes along and joins if you keep your arms open.
That's right. I was literally listening to a sermon on Sunday, and he brought up both of those, and then he said, do both. Do both, right? We need to have faith that God is sovereign and God is in control, and we need to have faith knowing that we got to do what we're called to do, but He's going to do what He wants to do, and He's in control of all of it. But we also are called co-laborers for a reason, co-workers, and also we know that He's given us a mission, a job, a responsibility. But are we truly going after it like it depends on us? And honestly, that's one of the reasons why my dad is my biggest hero, because his entire adult life, he has truly gone after it. And I got to see all these other people in the church, and they would talk about it, and they would raise their hand. It was all this cool stuff, but I was like, but you don't do anything. It's really cool, but man, I wanted to be like my dad because he was all about it. Mm-hmm. He was all about it. His whole entire adult life, I saw him loving people that could literally not do anything for him.
Yeah.
You see, I didn't want to be that person that I would talk about God's love for humanity, but you know what? When we look at Scripture and we look at God's love, which is agape, there are 4 types of love in the Greek, and agape being most admirable, and the best definition I've ever heard of it was to choose the best interest for another person and act on their behalf. But you know what's in the Bible more than agape? Is agapao. Because agape is the noun, agapao is the verb. It's in the Bible more than agape. Why? Yeah. Because it's one thing to know about God's love. It's a whole nother thing to go out there and show God's love, to choose the best interest for humanity and act on their behalf. And you know what? I think there's going to be a lot of people one day that they're going to that right now they know about God's love, but man, they didn't choose to go act. Because I think the most selfish thing that you can do is once you have been rescued, is you know about what God sent His Son Jesus to do, and you believe that what He did on the cross, and you believe it counted for you. And my pastor always says, once you've been rescued, you're on the rescue team.
Yeah.
Go be on the rescue team. Go bring that mission. Go bring that message. Go bring that opportunity to every single person around the world. Because the most selfish thing you can do is once you know that, to hold on to it, to not bring and show that love to the world. And I don't want to be someone that knowledge stops with me. I want to be a verb. Listen, I was homeschooled, but I know the difference between a noun and a verb. All right. Listen, I want to show.
It might be why you know the difference.
You went to Tennessee. We can explain it in a little bit. Okay. So, but honestly, I believe every day we share the gospel, but every now and then we use words. And when those two match, now I think you have great impact.
You need to keep in mind, Florida's a really good school.
It is.
And I went to Tennessee, and there's a lot of people that went to Florida that work for me.
It's cool.
Just keep it up.
Honestly,
just keep it up.
No, let's talk about the glory days, and you can talk about the early 90s, okay? It's cool.
That is truth.
I remember when to celebrate, I had to look back 30 years.
No.
It's a hard reality, Tim. It's a hard reality.
They just keep coming.
It's true, though.
No, it's awesome. Let's go back and celebrate Peyton and T. Martin. It's cool, 96 and 7 were awesome years, huh?
Half the stadium is a jersey. That's 35 years old. You're like, that's sad. Yeah,
it's okay.
It's true though. It's being a ball fan. We're dedicated. We're
I was talking about the academics.
I know. Well, you turned football. That makes sense.
I love it. Honestly, I want Tennessee to be good. I genuinely
that's nice
do.
of you,
I'm honestly,
You're
I'm
just the
being serious
nicest
with
guy.
that.
You're so
One, because I
nice.
love the SEC, but two, we freaking need them to be good again. Like, come on. And they're getting back. And at least this year, they're exciting with their offense.
Hello, gunslinger, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Every year.
one of the greatest questions you can ask is, does my life change other people's lives for the better? That's one of the statements towards the end of the book. And one of my best friends, pastor that's graduated, he's gone on to be with the Lord, used to say, if it's not helpful, if it doesn't promote healing, and it doesn't spread hope, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
And so you get to the end and go, did I leave an impact? Did I leave a mark?
That's right.
And that's how you know if you were on mission.
That's right. And I believe that one of the greatest forms of tragedy is to be successful in all the things that don't matter. And I think there's going to be a lot of people one day that are going to look back and they're going to say, you know what, I was successful in all of these things, but none of them matter. And man, I just don't want to say that or feel that or know that about my life. Is I've been fortunate in a few areas to be a little bit successful. Man, but success doesn't matter. But I do think that every single person that has been blessed to have a little bit of success, I believe that we can turn that into significance, because I believe success is about us, but significance is about other people. And I want to encourage all those people that are listening right now, and you've been blessed with success. You have the chance to turn that into significance by looking outward, by looking at people that need you, that need that help, and you can make a difference in their life. Because what are you going to think one day? Oh my gosh, what are you going to brag about in your deathbed? Look at all this success I had. I've been fortunate to talk to a lot of people on their deathbed, whether that's been in hospitals, it's been in death row, it's been in so many different places, in so many different countries. And very rarely do you ever hear someone talk about an accomplishment.
Yep.
But you do hear them talk about meaning and purpose. Or you hear them say, I wish I would have done more. Meaning, purpose, significance, things that actually really mattered.
Yep, that's exactly right. Yeah, you don't get to the end of the thing and somebody worry about what car they're driving. It doesn't come up.
No,
but he with the most toys when he dies is dead.
That's right. But I will say this. I'll tell you honestly, so many times in my life, I will say that I have gotten caught up in that. I think, man, I've so many times I've gotten caught up. I thought, man, but if we can win this championship, man, but if we can beat Tennessee again, man, but if we can win the SEC, man, but if we can win this championship, man, but if I can prove the doubters wrong and be a first round draft pick, if we can prove them wrong and get to the playoffs, and those aren't bad things, but too many times in my life they were everything.
Yeah.
And God had to say, no, that's not everything. That's a game. And it's okay. I know you love it. That's a good thing. I put you here for that.
Yeah.
But remember, I didn't put you here for a game. I remember I just won the Heisman Trophy, and then a few weeks later I was in Thailand. I got a chance to do some cool things, and I saw a boy that was starving on the side of this feeding center that was squatting in this corner of a ditch, and he was wearing an orange and blue number 15 Tim Tebow jersey, and I just started weeping because I knew God was pricking my heart, saying, you think that you're cool, or you think that you matter because you just won this trophy, and people are celebrating you. Who's celebrating that boy? You see, I died just as much for that boy as I died for you. And you know what? A game's not going to do anything for that boy, but you can. So don't forget why you're here. Don't forget why I died. I didn't die for a game. I died for humanity. I died for that boy. I want you to love that boy.
Amen.
Yeah, and that's so much too of even here on this show when we just talk about money, right? That's the big arc of it, and it's getting people in this place to be free and to have the margin, the ability to go and give, right? Not that we're mad at stuff, right?
No,
so whether
for
it's
sure.
winning a football game or driving a nice car, whatever, all that's not bad.
It's not bad.
But it's the thing that you're attaching your hope and your joy to.
That's exactly
and what is
right.
It. So I think that's awesome.
The new
It's
book
great.
is Mission Possible. Go create a life that counts, with our friend Tim Tebow. Thanks for coming by, my brother.
Thank you, guys.
Always
I appreciate
good to
y'all
spend
so
time
much.
with you.
Thank you. I'm so grateful for y'all.
You too, brother. This is The Ramsey Show. Look, I love real estate and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Chaz and Karina are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hey, Dave. Hey, Rich.
Good to have you guys. Where do you live?
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Welcome to Nashville. And all the way here to do a debt-free scream. How much have you paid off?
120.
Wow.
Good. How long did this take?
4 years and 5 months.
Good deal. Good deal. And your range of income during that time?
45 to 70.
Wow. Good for you. What do you guys do for a living?
I work for a payroll company in Cincinnati, and I'm on like a leadership team there.
Okay.
Started out on like entry level and worked my way up for the 5 years. So.
Oh,
Awesome.
Good for you. Good for you.
And I stay home with the kids and
All right.
do what I can on the side. So,
All
sweet.
right.
There's 3 of them. What are their ages?
You got your hands full.
we've got 4.5, 2.5, and 6 months.
Oh, you got a full-time job.
Yes.
No question. You are.
Precious.
Yeah, you're busier than all of us. 120,000 is what kind of debt?
Student loans.
He points at himself.
Just me.
Just me.
Single
My
point.
student loans.
My stupid mistake.
Okay. So what happened 4 years ago? They got you guys on this journey, this Ramsey journey.
Oh, well, 4.5 years ago, we had Zeke. And we kind of started the journey when we got married. We did FPU when we were engaged and knew that he had a lot of student loans that we wanted to work through. And our minimum payments were so big and our income was not very big. And it just, I don't know, we just could not get traction. It just took a lot. And then the summer that we had him, we taught an FPU class and we're tallying up the numbers and we were like, what are we doing? Like,
Very
how is it still
eye-opening.
this big? And so we had been renting a house and we moved back into an apartment and we just started making changes and I started door dashing and doing other things. And we're like, we got to do this. Like,
Yeah,
we have a baby.
we have to address this. It's not going to go away if we don't hit it.
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
You guys did it and had multiple kids during the time too,
Yeah.
which is a feat. I'm like,
It
I'm
is.
so impressed.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah, you guys have done a lot in 4.5 years. Yeah, yeah, big deal. And a lot of growing in your career and going up the ladder, and a lot of babies coming on, and all this other stuff. So, what do you tell people now? The key to getting out of debt is you did it.
Yeah, we did. Well, for us, one of the big things was using every dollar. We had been just using a spreadsheet that Chaz had created that was good, but every dollar is different and it worked easier. It was easier for me to look at it and say, oh, this is how much we have to throw at the loans. So that was a big part. And then God's faithfulness, obviously, really big deal. And then just remembering that as we go along and as we would get discouraged, looking back at ways that God had provided, things that people had given us, things that we were able to find for next to nothing or free, was amazing. Yeah, that was a really, really big thing.
That's so interesting that you say that, because I do find when people kind of draw the line in the sand and say we're not going into debt, and in fact we're going to work our way out of it, it forces you to think differently and get creative in life, right? So as a parent, because a lot of people listening have little ones at home, like what did you guys do as a family to find things of like, okay, we don't have a ton of money to spend because we're throwing everything at the debt. So how did you survive 4 years of sacrifice? What all did you do?
Yeah. Well, we had a small business that we ran. We started it before Zeke was born, and then we just closed it down this last year. We had a donut pop-up shop that we did on the weekends, and it was a lot of fun, and it was very creatively fulfilling for me. And then we just realized this year, we're like, we just can't take it the direction we want to right now without going into debt for it.
Yeah.
But then like my family lives nearby, so we were able to, do Sunday dinners with them, and I cook a lot. We have a good group of friends, and we were able to spend time with them, which makes it easier than like, I don't know, they're not like, oh, let's all go out to dinner because we
they
all
were
have
very
kids.
understanding too.
Yeah.
So like it was the joke was always like, is that in the budget?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Well, what it amounts to is you kind of just did what people used to do.
Yeah.
You like have relationships
Right.
and cook and stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to buy your way through something.
Yeah.
That's that's fabulous. Very, very well done. Very proud of y'all.
Thank you.
Thank
Great job. Who was your biggest cheerleader outside the two of you?
I mean, both our parents were. I mean, we were blessed with other people that we didn't even really know. We were a cheerleader gave us $500 like gift card to go somewhere with a handwritten note that no idea where it came from, but someone heard our story or knew what we were going through and wanted to provide things like that. Someone also helped bless us with a minivan that we drove down here too.
Wow.
So we've had some people who have really wanted to see us kind of thrive and get behind us. But our friends and our families,
That's
big
awesome.
cheerleaders.
So what would be the hardest thing you would say to someone that's about to enter into this journey?
What was the toughest thing you did in that 4 years?
Getting started, I think. Our shovel just wasn't very big, and it felt like we couldn't do it.
Because we took, we did it, the classes, we talked about it, we kind of had some budget meetings here and there, right? We tried to keep going, but like it was always just very hard to kind of like we're here with our garden shovel here, right? Like, and it just seemed like we were never going to get anywhere. And then as my job, I was blessed in my job with getting more raises and stuff, and we started to see that we can do this, or the extra side jobs and stuff. So like just getting started was actually really hard.
Well, and until you start chipping away at it, it's hard to believe it's actually going to go away.
Yes. Yeah.
Just standing there and looking at it, it's overwhelming.
Yes, very.
But when you start the climb, you go, well, okay, maybe, and then maybe, and then maybe. You get that process. So very well done, you guys. Very, very well done. We've got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you, #1 bestseller. That's the next chapter in your story for sure. And another copy of Total Money Makeover for you to give away to someone to inspire them. You guys have inspired a lot of people today just by showing up and doing your debt-free scream. All right, let's get the kiddos into the shot and introduce them, their names and ages. We want this to be a family affair because it has been all along. This is what happened while they were getting out of debt. That's fun.
Sweet.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is Zeke. He's 4.5. We have Inez. She's 2.5. And then this is Liza. She's a little over 6 months.
All right. Very fun. Beautiful family. You guys have changed your family tree. Yeah. Very well done. We're proud of you. You're heroes. Great work. All right, Chaz and Karina, Zeke, Inez, and Eliza from Cincinnati, Ohio, $120,000 paid off in 4 years and 5 months, making 45 up to 70. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
You guys ready?
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free!
Yeah! That is how it's done right there. Oh, man. Absolutely fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
Precious family.
Yeah.
Oh.
So a lot of times we hear, well, people, I don't make $200,000 a year. Well, they don't. They made 45.
Yep.
And they started. And during the time, they go to 70. And single income. She's full-time stay-at-home mom. They do the side hustle with the donuts, the pop-up donuts, and they look good. The pictures of them look good. I kind of want one right now. But man, I mean, it's those numbers are.
It's impressive.
This is a long journey, and there's nothing flashy.
Yep.
It's little tick, 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 and then the wall falls.
Yep. It's that diligence, that we were talking about earlier. I'm like, man, being faithful and being diligent in the small day-to-day stuff is what moves the needle, right? And especially with this situation, you're like, that's it. That's what they did.
The hardest part was getting started because you're overwhelmed.
And again, like she said, she's like, we're looking at our shovel, and it's a garden shovel compared to the student loan. And the student loans, I think, sometimes are the hardest because at least a car loan, you're like, can we sell it? Can we not? There's a tangible I don't know. But Sally Mae, it's like it just
$120,000.
And everyone has it, and all, you know what I mean? I'm like, you can justify yourself out of that. And so the fact when people buckle down and they do it on just that, I'm like, it's impressive, and they're incredible.
And now they're
Absolutely
free.
Incredible.
Now they're free.
Completely debt free.
They're free. They're free. Did I mention they're free? This is good stuff. I love it. Very well done. This is The Ramsey Show. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. We will be in Dallas on October the 22nd for the SMART Conference. It's our biggest event of the year. All of the Ramsey personalities, plus Craig and Amy Groeschel, will be speaking on marriage. It's going to be a huge deal. Rachel, the tickets are selling so fast that if you don't, I know it's October 22nd, but they're going to sell out. The SMART Conference exploded.
It's going crazy.
I think people were kind of waiting for us to get back out there. I mean, they're ready.
I think they're ready to do anything.
They're ready to go do stuff, yeah. And the wealth building tickets are selling. Building wealth tickets are selling too. It's Rachel, George, and I will be doing an event called Building Wealth, and it'll be in Orlando on May the 19th. It just went on sale, and it's selling like crazy. Thank you, guys. We appreciate your response. But for the rest of you that have not yet got your tickets for the SMART Conference or the Building Wealth Conference in Orlando, you do need to go ahead and get them. The tickets aren't that much. And go to RamseySolutions.com/events. Pick them up immediately because it appears there's like a pent-up demand or whatever you call me. A lot of people want to do something, and we're one of the things.
People, yes. And they're fun. We love our events, so we're excited to be back out as well, to be with you guys.
Yeah, to get out and hang out with people again is just going to be
And Building
nice.
Wealth, we're going to do book signings there and everything, so yeah.
Absolutely, and Deloney and Ken Coleman are coming, and we're going to build them into the event as well, and they'll be doing book signings. So every one of us will be signing books. Every one of us will be doing stuff. We're looking forward. The Building Wealth events are small. They're only about 2,000 people, and so that's why they're going to sell out really, really quickly. I think that one's already almost like half sold out.
I was about to say,
in like 4 days.
Yeah.
It went fast. So if you want to come, Orlando, we're going to be announcing 5 other cities soon on the Building Wealth, 1 more in the spring and 4 in the fall, and we'll let you know those as soon as we can get the venues under contract and let you guys know where we're coming and when. But that's going to end up being a tour is what it amounts to, because all the Ramsey personalities are like, we've got to get back out there. It's crazy. So we're excited to be out there teaching again. And
we love a live stream, but also we like being with people more.
Yeah. I don't love the live stream, but it's easy to do, but it's a lot less trouble than doing a venue and taking a tractor trailer load of stuff across the country and all that kind of stuff. But there's just something about being with human beings that's a big deal. Hannah is with us. Hannah's in Maryland. Hi, Hannah. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So I kind of have a 2-part question. As of about 3 weeks ago, we finished baby step number 2 and 3.
Nice. Congrats.
Thank you so much. It was a journey. But so we started our 15% towards retirement for baby step 4, and now we are looking at college savings for our kids, and I'm just spinning in circles. We have 4 kids. They range from 10 years to 9 months. And my amazing in-laws started 529 plans for all of them when they were babies. And so we don't know, should we, where should we start saving money for them, since they do all already have 529s that have been started, and should we contribute equally to all four of them, or start with the oldest one and work our way down?
Yeah, it's a great question, Hannah. Actually, my husband and I in January, we sat down with our Smart Vesta Pro and looked at everything, including the 529s for the kids. And realized we didn't open one for little Charles. So we were like, oh. And so we were looking, though, to see how to, what it looks like and run the numbers. So I would say first and foremost, Hannah, I would sit down with the Smart Vesta Pro, because they're going to be able to tell you, hey, here's what the market's doing. Here's what it looks like. They factor in inflation and tuition and all of that. And you're going to be able to see the growth that your money's going to have. And yeah, depending on the age of the kid, it's going to depend on the amount of money you're going to need and all of it. So there's multiple options here, but sitting down to run the numbers is what's key, and having somebody in your corner to help do that, for me, just gave me a peace of mind.
Yeah, but it is not, fair is not equal. And so if you've got an older child, you're going to need to put more in for the older child than you put for the younger child, because the younger child's got more time for the money to grow. And so the point is that we're going to take care of each of them's school, and it takes a different amount of money to take care of each of them's different in school. So that's perfectly fine. And yeah, and they can help you run the calculations with a Smart Vesta Pro. Seth is in Boise, Idaho. Hi, Seth. How are you?
Great, Dave. How are you?
Better than I
deserve.
deserve.
An honor to speak with you.
You too.
I love to hear it. Hey, so I've got a quick question. My wife and I are trudging through baby step 2. We have about $27K in debt, and we're about 20 months left on our plan. And I'm working about 80 hours a week with my full-time job. I work remote doing software, and then drive Uber in the evenings. And so I'm hustling really hard.
What's your household income?
So my full-time job, I make about $105 a year before taxes. Mm-hmm. And then with my Uber, I can make, last year I made about 20,000. Mm-hmm. Well, that was before expenses. After expenses, it was like 7. Mm-hmm. So, and that was only driving about half the year. So this year, driving all the year, I figure I'll probably about double that.
If you're making $125,000, why is it taking you a year to pay off $27,000?
Well, I guess that's just with the plan, the way we've got it set up, we're putting $1,500 a month to our debt plan.
Why?
Where's
your money going?
Because the money. We have 6 kids. We have kids in college. We've got. There's just a bunch of
that makes
the
sense.
house, everything. Yeah, so there's a bunch of different stuff going on. We got. So yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I just was trying to get clarity. What's your question? How can we help you?
Well, my question is so my wife came to me today and she's just getting really frustrated, and she told me she feels like she's fearful that I'll continue the grind even after we're debt free. And
why is she fearful?
I'm wondering. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's just we've been doing it for so long. And, we've just now, I've gotten my income up over the last 2 years. Before it was down in the 75,000, that kind of thing. And it's just in the last about year that we've really said, hey, we can do this. We can, really make some extra money and throw it towards the debt.
But what have you said or done that made her think you want to do this like 80-hour week as a way of life?
I don't know. Maybe it's the way I cause she'll sometimes say, well, I'd really like you to come home. It's 10 o'clock at night and I'm still out driving and I'm going, well, I'm not at my goal yet. I got to hit my goal for the day kind of thing. So she
probably feels disconnected from you, Seth. I would think as a wife, I think in this process, one of the things is that there's so many hours in the day, and if you're applying, all those hours to working and getting out of debt, which is awesome, it's the gazelle intensity. But the relational factor, if there's not the connection and she doesn't feel a level of somewhat safety even, and like, hey, yeah, we feel connected in this is the grind, but we're on this team together, versus a him versus her, and you're missing each other all the time, and you go in marriage like that for a long time, that takes a toll on your marriage. And so there's a level that I would have and say, hey, let's have boundaries around this. And there's a certain time, maybe at night, so many nights a week that I'm home at this time, and when we're together, that you guys are spending quality time together too as a married couple. Because in this process, it should actually, what we find, help your marriage in it, even though there's a lot of sacrifice involved, versus tearing you guys apart. And I'm hearing it being torn apart, and I just kind of have some red flags going up.
Yeah, I think you need to make sure we're both on goal, and we identify what the goal is and what happens when we hit the goal. Meaning that we're going to knock this debt out, and then I'm immediately going to not do Uber anymore. And I'm immediately going to back down to X number of hours as soon as we're debt free. And you got to lay that out. I also think that the two of you are not doing your budget together, because there's still a lot of money missing. You got 6 kids and a couple in college. Okay, that explains a lot of where some of your money's going, but still $1,500 a month out of $120,000, that's only $18,000 a year. I'm going to want to dial that in, and maybe that's her part of this, as she helps dial the home place in to get you off the road even faster. But you've just got to make the time to stay connected, as Rachel's saying. Good question, brother. Keep at it. You're going to get it. Let's make sure you stick with her. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Rachel Cruz, co-host on The Ramsey Show. If you want to do your debt-free scream live on the show, visit RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream. We'd love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story. That's RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Thank you for joining us, America. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today, along with Christina Ellis, Ramsey Personality. So we've got Ramsey Personalities everywhere in here. I'm outnumbered by the ladies right now.
I was about to say it's a ladies segment, but it's not.
It is Women's Month or something, right?
It was International Women's Day.
Yesterday. Okay. Well, I knew it was something like that.
It's like Women's Month.
Well, I'm sure it was something. I saw.
We can have the whole month.
Or was it Monday?
I think it was Monday.
Ooh, I'm behind too. I don't know.
I've just always lived my life that every day was.
That's
so
right.
There you
That's
go.
right.
All right.
Preach it.
And then I know I'm good. Okay.
That's right.
I know I'm covered that way. So Christina Ellis, Ramsey Personality, is new on board in the last year, and we've been introducing her to you guys. She has it was a number one best-selling book, right? Or was
it's a best-selling book.
A best-selling book. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I didn't know if it was a number one or not. Where she
Goals.
went and maybe we'll push it back up there. But anyway, she went and at her mom's suggestion gathered up $500,000 in scholarships and went and not only got her undergrad but got her master's degree from Vanderbilt. And all completely free. And so we thought she'd have something to say about the student loan crisis and brought her on to be part of the team and talk about this. And student loans are popping out there right now. The payments, everybody, they keep kicking the can down the road, but now it's May 1. They're going to start back. And word is, I just saw a survey that said 93% of the students are not, our former students are not ready to start their student loan payments back.
Yeah. We've seen some crazy stats out there. There's so much anxiety around this topic right now. And I've actually heard there's a study by Ramsey here that 6 in 10 people have not been making any payments at all. So this has been such a great opportunity for people to make payments and get ahead. But a lot of people have just, for whatever reason, not been making payments. So this pressure and this weight is coming down on them right now. That another study said that 27% of people don't even think they can pay it at all, that they can ever do it again, which is just crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy too, because I'm like, you can get in this habit, and people have, obviously, of just not paying, right? versus hearing the people that are putting money towards their student loan and getting their principal way down in the moment, right? Where you're not having to pay, but they are, and catching up. So whether May 1st comes true, or even if they kick the can down further, still attacking your student loan during this time, it's the smartest thing to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely a time to attack it. And I think it's great. We've seen a lot of people who have taken advantage of it. And that's just awesome because you're seeing people who've paid off their balances or they're making significant progress. But if you're in that group of people who haven't been paying, let this be your wake-up call. This is still time, there's still time where the interest isn't accruing, where it's not adding up. So take advantage of the time you do have. And if they do kick the can down the road even further, then you'll get more time to make payments without interest.
Yeah.
I would not count on that, though. What you need to count on is what you can control, and that's you. And get your butt in gear and start attacking this thing. It's time to get real serious about your budget. It's time to get real serious about what you need to sell. It's time to get real serious about an extra job. It's time to get real serious about not eating out and get your stinking student loans knocked out, man. Sally Mae is an ugly woman, and she will not leave until she's evicted. I mean, you have to kick her to the street. And she she's not going to leave. She's not going to voluntarily move out. You're going to have to kick her out.
And I think that's part of the problem too, though, is I feel like I hear people that will say, "Yeah, I'm not paying on my student loans because the government's going to forgive them." There's still this mindset that it's just going to disappear and go away. And I'm like, man, like sitting on that defense, right? Versus the offense and being like, no, I'm going to be proactive and actually do something about this versus waiting. So it's wild, but you see it all the time. I feel like you're like in this so much.
Right. And that's why one of the things I want to talk about today are some of the strategies that people are going to hear about that's really bad advice, things that people should avoid. So one of the things that's going to be a temptation for many people is forbearance. It's the chance to pause your payments or lower the payments. And it sounds really great at first. I don't have to deal with it right now. That 27% of people who, they don't think that they can pay their loans, they might think, let's do forbearance. But that's just, again, kicking the can down the road. But this time, your interest, it will be accruing. So when you get to the end of that time, it's going to be an even higher amount.
Bad news, yeah. And the other one, that anytime you do something that feels good now, it's going to be bad later. Forbearance is one, the income repayment plan, where you take the lowest possible payment because you have a low income. And what that means is you're not paying it enough. Right. And it's building up on you. It's going to catch up on you, right?
Right. I was on a Ramsey Plus coaching call, a group coaching call the other day, and there was the saddest story. There was a 70-year-old woman on the call, and she took out her loans in 1999.
Oh, God.
Took out $80,000 in student loans. She had a series of unfortunate events happen. Her husband passed away. She got hit by a tornado. Her house did. Her house burned down. All these different things, but she signed up for an income-based repayment program, and now her student loans are $144,000.
Oh,
good.
She's paid $79,000 towards those loans, but because the interest just kept accruing, it just
she didn't cover the interest. It's gone backward. Yeah.
Okay, that's so interesting. I just saw an article today. We were in a content meeting talking about an episode of doing this kind of stuff on the Rachel Cruze Show, and there was an article that came out, and it was like, I took out $30,000, and now it's over $93,000. How is this happening? And that's what makes me so angry about the whole process too, is I'm like, at 18, no one's explaining to these students, hey, this is what interest is. This is what happens when it grows, because it can feel defeating of like, I'm paying on my principal, but because the interest is stacking up against me and I can't get ahead, it feels so overwhelming.
And lastly, we don't need to worry about it because the government's going to forgive it.
Right. It's not a concern. They're going to come save us. How do you feel about that, Dave?
Yeah. Anytime someone says, I'm from the government and I'm here to help, that's the scariest words in the English language.
Isn't that Ronald Reagan?
Oh, yes, it was.
I know my quotes.
What's crazy with student loans, I actually saw a statistic the other day that, high school students, they're 18-year-olds, they have this financial aid package come in, and at the bottom of this package is the total number. In this financial aid package, it has grants and scholarships, but they also lay student loans in there. And the statistics said, a huge percentage of students, they don't even realize that money's not free.
Yes.
They don't realize that they're signing for a student loan. They think that what they have in that package is just money that some adult gave to them that they're not going to be responsible for, which is absolutely crazy. We have to do better. And that's what I'm so excited with the Borrowed Future, what we've done with that, because it highlights that toxic industry. It highlights these people out here who are taking advantage of students.
Absolutely. The Borrowed Future documentary, you can see it at Google Play. You can see it on Apple TV. You can see it on Amazon Prime. Hundreds of thousands have viewed it. If you have a college student and coming up anywhere near in your future, you should show it to them. You should watch it. And the rest of you ought to watch it anyway, just so you get pissed off and tell Congress to quit doing this, because they're messing over the American public with the student loan program. Christina Ellis, Ramsey personality, thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me.
So fun.
This is The Ramsey Show.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess?
With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Half of all Americans over 65 will need long-term care, and the average cost of that care is $138,000. You've got to plan your long-term care needs right now. I talk to people all the time whose plan is to let Medicaid pay for it. I got news for you. Medicaid won't pay for everything, and Medicaid is welfare. It's based on the fact that you're poor is the only way you get government-funded nursing homes. That's why we recommend long-term care insurance for someone who's age 60 and over. It helps pay for the nursing home care, assisted living, in-home care, costs like medical equipment, getting dressed, eating, home modifications so you can get around safely in your home, does all of that. Long-term care insurance protects your family, too. Your spouse, your kids won't have to bear the financial or emotional burden of taking care of you. Our endorsed local provider network will help you understand your long-term care insurance options and find the right policy for you. Find an ELP for long-term care. Have them sit down and start talking to you if you're 60 or if your parents are. And you need to make sure the nursing home is taken care of. RamseySolutions.com/long-term care. Be sure you check it out. Sterling is in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hi, Sterling. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Hey, so I am 17. I have a $1,000 car. I have $5,000 in a Roth IRA, and I'm putting $500 in a month right now. I make about $1,500 a month, and I'm still doing full-time high school. I've got free college, and I've been through Financial Peace University, and I'm trying to figure out what I need to do with my money and if I need to open an index fund or how I should be setting aside money for a house.
I think you should run for president. Oh, my gosh, young man. You're on fire. What are you doing to make all this money?
So I started out as a painter when I was 15. My dad helped me get the job, and then right now I'm working as a HVAC cleaner, so I help a guy clean air ducts and dryer vents.
Yeah.
Nice. My husband did that through college, Sterling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard work. It's nasty work, too. But you're not afraid of hard work. Get her done, man. I'm proud of you. Very well done. So you're heading off to school? Is that the plan? What's the plan when you graduate?
Yes, sir. So I'm a junior right now. I'm planning on dual enrolling some this next year, and hopefully I'll get some college hours in. And then once I graduate high school, I'm planning on, hopefully, I'm thinking about majoring in business and then maybe going to trade school at some point after that.
So that's my plan so far.
I think you got a great plan. Very cool. Very cool. So your question is what to do with all this money?
Yes, sir. Should I be saving it up for a house? Should I be putting this in an index fund? Because I'm already maxing out my Roth IRA.
How's college paid for?
So my dad actually works at a college right now, so I get a free tuition, and he's got like half the books I need.
Okay. All right. I would not try to get too fancy. I'm just going to park it as an insurance policy to make sure that if something goes sideways on the free part of the college, you can still finish. And
yes,
so the worst case scenario is you have, I don't know, $30 or $40 or $50,000 when you graduate. Oh, darn. And then you just have to figure out buying a house at that point. But if you've got that in a good mutual fund, just do something like an index fund. I think that'd be just fine. But the big deal here is sometimes some of our plans get derailed, and I always want, it's more important for you, especially sharp and as much of an ambition and much of a go-getter as you are, to complete school and to complete it debt-free. That is more valuable than any amount of money you will ever make on a mutual fund in terms of the actual math. In other words, you will be more valuable by many times more than this money will make in a mutual fund. So the investment is my secondary concern. My primary concern is you, and making sure that if something blew up over there with your dad or whatever, then you can still finish school. And if it doesn't, if the plan goes exactly as you got it laid out, you're still going to have a pile of money for, to get into your first job and your first house and that kind of thing.
Yeah, because I love obviously the motivation of investing and all that, Sterling. You're doing it, right? The earlier the better, but also kind of with the caveat that between 17 and 22 years old, there's a lot of transition. There's a lot of change. You have no clue kind of what life is going to bring you. And so you're not going to not become wealthy if you start really kind of hardcore investing at 22 versus 17, if that makes sense. So having that cash available, like you're saying, Dave, I think is so smart, because again, whether you go to college and then you're like, okay, I want to move to a different state, I'm going to need cash to be able to move. Who knows? Maybe you meet a girl and you're like, I want to propose, and you're going to get a ring. Like there's just so much transition that can happen in that time. And so giving yourself the ability to have margin with cash to be able to kind of move and go at the pace you want is worth it. And then once you kind of settle down after college and figure out where you're going to live, your first job and all of that, then go hardcore into the investing, because that's where you're going to be, which is freaking amazing that you're going to be on baby steps 4, 5, and 6.
I'm not sure who Sterling's dad and mom are, but I think they get the award.
Okay, yes, but I wanted to ask him too. There is something though in certain people that they just have this drive, and I see that in my kids. Like you have kind of that, you have kids that they just have this natural motivation. Their natural wiring is they love making money. They start to sing.
I don't think anybody naturally cleans air ducts.
To go and work, though.
I know, that work ethic.
It's in him. I don't think his parents are making him do that, is what I'm saying. Like, there is something in Sterling and in people, and it's like they just have that drive. So I'm just applauding him. Yeah, he's doing an amazing thing.
A stud. I'm not taking anything away from him.
And your parents, for sure, have done an incredible job teaching you and showing you. So it is, it's all of it, which is awesome. Great job, Sterling.
You don't accidentally.
And have fun, too, Sterling. Have fun. Have fun. You're 17. You're good. You're going to be good. Have fun.
Chelsea's with us in Phoenix. Hey, Chelsea, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So I have about $56,000 that's been in my bank account. I have no debt. I guess I'm on baby step number 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I owe about $59,000 still on my house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just wanting to know if I should take like a portion of my savings and put it towards my house, or I don't really know how much I should really keep for like my emergency fund.
Yeah, it's a great question. So with baby step 3, where we're at, is 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. And so making sure you have expenses, that set aside. Are you, Chelsea, kids, single, kind of where are you at?
Yeah, I'm married and I have 2 kids, 7 and 3.
Okay. So yeah, you and your husband can decide, do we want to lean more toward the 3-month emergency fund or the 6-month, but having that cash set aside. And then ask yourselves, like, is there a car that needs to be replaced for any reason? Are you guys doing any remodel? Like, is there anything in life that's going on? Because when you're on baby steps 4, 5, and 6, This is the time we always say you can kind of take your foot off the accelerator some. And so if there is stuff to do, you're able to. But also, though, Chelsea, after that emergency fund is funded and throwing a chunk at the house is so nice because you guys just have the money. You have the cash there.
What's your household income?
It's about $165 total.
Okay, so what do you think 3 to 6 months of expenses is?
I don't know. Probably, I don't know. Maybe like 30.
Okay, let's call it. Let's call it 30.
Under.
Let's call it 30 and throw 26 at the house and pay the house off this year.
Okay.
Because you make enough to pay the house, you make enough to cash flow the rest of it. You don't owe, but you said 50 something, right? 59.
59, yeah.
Yeah. So if we throw 26 at it, we got 31 left, right?
Yeah.
31 out of 165 and 31 out of 165 in 12 months is very doable.
Yeah. Okay.
Then now we're at baby step 7 when you do that, and now you're in a position to become everyday millionaires in no time. You're going to be rocking it. You guys have done a great job. And so where you are now, we move from baby steps 1, 2, and 3 is intense, gazelle intensity. 4, 5, and 6 is retirement, kids' college, and paying off the house. That's intentionality. And so that's what Rachel's saying. If you need to pull some money to do something else, this is the time you would do it. But if you don't have a need for a remodel, a new couch, or a new car, then throw that 26 at the house and let's get this house done this year. If you're not using Pure Talk for your wireless, you're paying too much. Pure Talk gives you the same great 5G coverage on the same 5G network as one of the big guys for half the cost. The average family saves over $800 a year. Go to puretalk.com and choose the affordable plan that's right for you. With their 30-day risk-free guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Bill is in Cincinnati. Hi, Bill. How are you?
I'm doing good, Dave. How are you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, I've taken your class. Back when my wife and I did it, it was 13 weeks and not the 9 like it currently is. And I was talking to the pastors at my church. And last night after Wednesday night service, I talked to the main pastor. I said, hey, what's up with the request for doing FPU? He says, oh, yeah, we talked about that. Go ahead and do it. So my one burning question is right now, when we did this, we didn't have this current inflationary pressure that we're currently seeing when you have no idea what gas prices are going to be from day to day and everything else like energy and food and whatnot. And for somebody starting out that's on the paycheck-to-paycheck mode like I was when I started, how would you address that? How would you deal with that question? Because that's legit.
Well, in a given month for your budget, you're not going to see food jump that much. Over the course of 6 months, you might. And so, you know, if you come up short because you suddenly saw the cost of bread go up or whatever, you got it next month, you'll adjust. But, and of course, anytime, as you know, someone is doing their budget the first time, they always guess low on food anyway. So we say, whatever you think is on food, you should add some to it because you're wrong. And so if you're worried about inflation, add some more to it, you know. So your budget for your grocery budget
is going to be higher, though. It's
higher,
16 to 20%. Like when I checked out, it cost
not in 1 month.
It is now compared to what it was like 6 months.
I know, that's what I'm saying, compared to 6 months ago.
Yes.
But in a given month, and you're starting your budget at the beginning of the month, for 30 days, you're not going to see dramatic move. You'll see some, but not dramatic. And if you do see some.
You will see it.
You'll jump it again the next
Yeah.
month. But a month at a time, you're not going to have to. Now, gas, on the other hand, might double. I mean, we're in a situation where we could see that. And so energy is not going to double in 1 month. You're not going to see your electric bill be substantially different in 30 days. Now, you might in 30 months, but in 30 days you're not. And you're doing a budget 30 days at a time. And so, really the only one that could be out of control is car gasoline. And so just whatever you think it's going to be, give yourself an extra pad and put some more in there. If you think you're going to spend 100, put 150 in there.
And Bill, I would say, I don't know if you had this experience, but for people that have not really started this at all and they haven't been budgeting, they're kind of just living that paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. When they sit down and actually do a budget, number one, we always say it, and I'm sure you felt this, you're like, okay, you kind of feel like you got a raise because you actually know where your money's going. And it's just going to make them, I just know for me, grocery shopping, I have felt it. I'm like, I went to Costco and it was like, oh my gosh, my Publix bill, it's just more. It's crazy what you're checking out at the grocery store for versus what you were doing 6 months ago.
Exactly.
But you have to be able to say, okay, what am I going to choose? Where am I going to choose to shop? What am I buying when I'm there? You have to be even that much more selective. But it is possible to do it still on a budget. But they just have to be even that much more intentional versus if they were doing this 2 years ago, because it's just things are more expensive.
Let me tell you what a bigger enemy of their budget is than the actual inflation. It's using the fear or the irrational response to inflation as an excuse to not do a budget. Oh, I can't do one because I just don't know. You don't know. You don't know what the gas is going to be. You just can't do it. You can't do it. And that irrational fear and that hyperbole drama reaction is a bigger enemy to the budget than the actual inflation is. Because it's going to cause people to look for an excuse to not do this. So instead, it's the other way around. It gives you that much more reason to do the budget. And really, the only thing in a given 30-day period that could move with some drama is car gasoline, and that's not going to happen for the rest of their lives. That may be for the next 60 days. I don't know what. I mean, it's been wild for the last 2 weeks, but. But Biden turning on and off the Keystone, on and off the Russians, he can't make up his mind what he's doing. And until he gets his supply-demand stuff, we're going to see some variation in the gas prices. It's all over the place. And so, but again,
but I think
the truth is, what are you spending on car gas? And when it goes up 20%, or 40%,
50, it's close to 50,
or 50%. Okay, so you spend $100, instead it's $150. This doesn't, and you make $70,000 a year. This does not make you broke.
I know, but it feels the pain though.
I know you feel it, and I know it's real. I'm not diminishing that it's real, but I'm saying it's not an excuse to not do a plan.
Totally, I'm with you on that.
That's what you can't do.
Yes,
you can't use it as an excuse to say I'm not going to do it. You just go, okay, I'm going to budget high because this crap's out of control and it hurts.
Yeah. So, Bill, on a very tactical level, if you were walking someone through a budget for the first time, looking back their last 3 months and adding up, what have I spent on gas? What have I spent on groceries on an average of the past 3 months? And know that naturally you're going to actually spend, not necessarily on gas, but you could spend less at the grocery because you're actually on a budget. You're on a plan. You're not just going and buying whatever you want. You actually know I have this amount saved. And you could say, hey, you're going to no, it's about a 20% increase on food, on groceries, about 50% on gas. So from the tactical math side, they can do that to kind of start that first month's budget and then adjust from there.
Exactly. So
it is crazy though.
But can we talk about it? I am not denying
that.
I
know you're not. But just like, man, like the world, it's one of those, it feels like that same angst when you watch the news and everything, like at the beginning of COVID, right? It's just like this, God, if everything just feels uncertain. And then, like, I don't know, the housing market, I don't know, all of it. It's just kind of a crazy world. Do you wake up and you're like, God, March of 2022, it's nuts.
No.
You don't? I just feel
it's crazy to look at what's going on.
I'm not trying to be dramatic about it, but it's just.
But the geopolitical thing is crazy, and the all the stuff going on. But the gasoline, we had $5 gas under Obama. And there wasn't anybody flopping in the street, foaming at the mouth then, and we got $5 gas right now, or $6 gas, depending on where you live. And,
$7 in California. I saw that.
And so, And that it's not good. I mean, I'm not defending it, and it shouldn't be. It is not real inflation. It's policy out of Washington D.C. that screwed it up. This is a economic hurt on the public that is caused by Washington, by the decisions they've made. There's no question about it. Some of the other inflationary things are not caused by. And you can't blame Biden for every ill out there. He didn't cause it. Some of this stuff is caused by supply chain and supply demand and the upheaval of the economy by quarantining all of the workers and deciding that some people whose job wasn't essential and some people's was. And so you screw up the labor market, you screw up the lumber market, you screw up the steel market, you screw up the chip market, and you screw up manufacturing, you screw up the car market. It's on its head. I've never seen a car market like this in my life. It's bizarre. None of that was caused by Washington. That was all caused by the pandemic, and that will all smooth out eventually. But it's because you did nothing, and then you did triple what you used to do, and then you did, and no one was producing nothing while you were doing nothing, and then when you did triple, you used up all the supply, and so you got this. You swerved the car, you turned the car.
Don't knock over my coffee, Dave.
Well, you turned the car so hard you flipped it. And that's what the economy did.
When's it going to be over? What's your crystal ball say?
24 months.
2 years.
24 months. But for all the supplies,
2 years?
For all the supply chain stuff to smooth out, it's going to take that long. 18 to 24 months. It's already smoothed out a lot. On lumber prices are back down. As an example.
I didn't know that. I didn't know my lumber pricing before.
There's you're starting to see. I mean, stuff. We don't have any shortage on the shelves. There's stuff hitting the shelves and that kind of stuff. So that's all the pandemic thing. That's the tsunami after the earthquake at sea.
Yep.
And that's what that was. But this oil thing, it's just politics. That's just morons in Washington is all that is. And so you want to be mad at somebody about the gas thing? Yeah, you can point that at Washington. The rest of it, it's not his fault. You can't blame him for that. I don't think. This is the Ramsey Show. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. So Rachel and I are talking off air during the break. Here's the thing. When a pandemic hits, when $6 gas hits, when a loaf of bread goes up, when there's 73 people trying to buy one house and they run the price up, when it's weird out there, when you walk through the grocery store and there's not crap on the shelves, okay, you have a different physical reaction to those things. You have a different emotional and spiritual reaction to these things, a lot less drama to these things when you are the third pig. You remember the third pig? He's the one that had a brick house. And when the big bad wolf came, his pulse rate did not change. He looked out the window and said, "Oh, there's a wolf." When the big bad wolf came to the other houses, he huffed and he puffed, and he blew their freaking house down, and their lives were coming to an end. Right? So when you have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses, when you are living on a budget, when you have worked your butt off and gotten yourself out of debt and all this crap comes at you, your pulse rate doesn't change. You go, dadgum, that's awful. It's inconvenient. They don't have cream cheese at Publix. Dadgum. You know? It's just a thing, right?
Can I be a fourth pig?
The fourth pig.
Can I be the fourth pig?
I don't know.
That you
What is
do
the
it.
fourth
The
pig?
fourth pig.
Is the fourth pig, is that the stepchild? Who's the fourth
I might be the stepchild after this segment. We'll see what happens.
You may get thrown out of the family.
I might get thrown out. The fourth pig is you do it all, right? Thank God for parents that teach you young. You do it. You're living on a budget since 21. You save up your emergency fund. You're funding your 401k. You're doing it, okay? So you got the brick house. But the dadgum wolf, but he's real. And when that pig goes to the grocery store, it's like, dang it, Publix. It is though.
So the fourth pig was a drama student.
Maybe so. The fourth pig can have the brick house, but the fourth pig also feels it when you fill up your tank and you're like, no, why is it so expensive? Or Costco, I check out and feels like it's double than what I did.
I didn't say you didn't feel it, but it doesn't have to have the level of drama that you're bringing to it.
I know, but it sucks though.
I didn't say it didn't suck. And let me tell you when it sucks more. When you're not the third pig. I've been there. I mean, it's like when you're broke, everything that can go wrong will, and then they throw some of this crap on top of it.
Totally, absolutely.
And your life looks like a country song.
So it's that much more.
Biden wrote. I mean, it's awful. You know, I mean, it's horrible. It creates a huge. But the level of stress that you have, the level of anxiety that you have around inflationary matters, changes dramatically, or should.
Totally.
If you have your crap together because you've been following this stuff. This is the stuff that we teach is the only principles in finance that work in prosperous times and in hard times.
Yes. But also, so I would say the fourth pig lives too, like when COVID hit, right? I know I'm the fourth pig. I don't know, I'm making it up as we go.
I know, I can tell.
But it's the same feeling as with COVID, that the people that were debt-free, had an emergency fund, all of that, their level of fear was way less.
Yes, that's my point.
All that. But there was still a level of, God, like,
yeah, I had that level. Yeah,
so
I mean, I get it.
So that's what I was just trying to acknowledge, that even though financially the dollars and cents, you can still pay for the gas and like adjust your budget and you're fine, you can pay for it.
Yeah, the dupes cut the stupid pump off at $125. I can't even fill up the truck. You know? I got to do it twice to fill it up.
That's why you need to go green.
I know, but
plug up.
Oh, good Lord.
And you don't have to do it.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, this is going downhill fast. But so
I can't fill up my truck.
The point is, though, that when you are prepared and you have done the things that we teach, this stuff does not have as much of an effect on you unless you choose drama. But the drama and the anxiety when you're broke is very real.
Yes.
I remember that. It's, like Deloney says, your body remembers it, you know? And so, yeah, when the difference in $4 gas and $6 gas is a huge percentage of your world because you haven't done these things yet, or you've never chosen to do these things being getting out of debt, saving money, living on a budget, living on less than you make, so that you can build wealth, so that you've got some buffer between you and all this crap that's out there. That's the third pig. And it is a real thing that, it doesn't mean you're looking down on the little people. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means that you're the third pig. And the wolf is out there and he's huffing and puffing, but you're not going to die. You know, and so the anxiety, if you have reasonable mental health, should be lower. You should not be at the same drama level. And so that's a real thing. And so that's one of the benefits of what we're saying. It's why you do this.
Yeah, that's right.
It's why you do this, because guess what? If your anxiety level due to inflationary issues or whatever it is, budgetary problems, is lower, it affects your relationship when you go home at night with your kids and your spouse. You know, it affects how you do your job at work because you're not sitting and wringing your hands and, you can actually concentrate, get your job done. Guess what? And then you get promotions. And so this whole thing leads to prosperity and away from the other. And so this should be yet one more time in your life, if you're out there and have never decided I'm going to get out of debt. You've never really decided I'm going to get on a budget. I've never really decided I'm going to build some wealth and have an emergency fund. This is one more reminder to be the third pig, because you do have less stress.
Yes,
you
totally.
should have less stress.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't mean it's not there. It doesn't mean you don't know it's there.
And
It doesn't mean you're in denial that people are having a hard time somewhere else other than you. You're not a snob. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying the natural reaction should be, it's inconvenient versus it's world ending.
Yes, yes. And even the simple thing, I was talking to someone who's getting out of debt. Just being on a budget, she was like, even just that gives me a sense of control and peace, because I know where to adjust and all of it. And even though it's still tight and it's like, oh, it's frustrating, it still gives you this level of control versus, like you're saying, just laying out and being like, oh my gosh, everything's just happening to me and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Giving yourself the ability to control what you can control. And that's this plan of getting an emergency fund in place, living on a budget, working your way out of debt so you don't owe anyone anything, building up an emergency fund, a fully funded one. Yeah, all of this, right, is to get to that point. So I totally concur. I just want to say they were still out of cream cheese. So that's the only thing I was saying in the break, is that there are still a few things that are bare on the shelves. And
I'm just saying it's not the end of the world. And it's less the end of the world. Yep. It's less drama and less stress when you're the third pig, or unless you've graduated to the fourth pig, which is the third pig with drama, apparently. But whatever that is, I don't know exactly what that is right now. We're going to rewrite the fable at this point, but we're going to have a Ramsey version of the fable. And Rachel's going to tell us how to do the fourth pig. But this is horrible. But
I don't know. If only we could air what we talked about.
You're just scared to death I'm not going to be empathetic of the people out there.
Well, all you said is that it didn't hurt month to month, the grocery bill. And I thought, I hurt. My every dollar, it hurt when I had to track that dang Costco transaction. I thought, dadgummit. It's just more. It just eats into it. My little line on my every dollar budget went way further than it did last month. So
and that means that less pizza for you, and that's a problem.
Taquitos, Topo Chicos, all of it.
We get the fourth pig when we have less pizza. That's where the fourth pig comes out. Pizza depravity. Being depraved of pizza. Deprived of pizza. However, depravity. It could be depravity, but it could be just depraved. This is the Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Rachel Cruz, co-host on The Ramsey Show. If you want to do your debt-free scream live on the show, visit RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream. We'd love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story. That's RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life and your money. Your life, your money, your relationships, your career, your work. It's all right here on The Ramsey Show. Brad starts off this hour in Atlanta. Hi, Brad. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dave. We're debt-free as of last year. We have a decent income. We have 4 kids, but one of them is currently sleeping in our closet. We desire to move, buy some land, and build a house later. We're considering buying a particular lot that recently became available that we've been kind of eyeing and waiting on. And we're thinking about purchasing it with debt and paying it off quickly. What would you recommend? Pass on it or go for it?
I'm a little confused. How's that going to keep the kid from sleeping in the closet if you own a lot?
It won't, but gradually over time we will build and move the kid into a room.
Why don't you just buy a house that has a room?
We could.
Do y'all want to build,
don't
Brad?
wanna
Is that like a
compromise.
dream? Like you want to build your own home?
Yes.
Well, it feels like you have a more immediate problem than your solution is providing.
We've put each child as they've gotten older into the closet, and then we moved them into the room with the others. As we were paying off our house and unwilling to go into a larger house just to satisfy getting them a bigger room.
So eventually, the kid's in the closet though, because he's like in a pack and play type of thing. And then when he gets older for a bed, he has a room he can go to. He will share with a sibling. So it's not.
Yes.
You're just saying it kind of as a joke,
Yes, as a joke, not as a necessary to move the child.
He's not
There's
like
a room for the other child that they could go into. That's with the others.
Okay, so we don't have a 5-year-old sleeping in the closet.
No. It's a pack and play.
Dave took it literal, and I took it as
it was literal. He said he had a kid in the closet. Okay. So if you do that, if the child grows up, leaves the pack and play, moves in with a sibling in a reasonable bedroom, normal human beings do that. That's fine. And then you start building a house, and within how many years are you going to be living in the house, the new house?
How many years until we move in? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. What's your plan?
Within 3 years, the house should be completed, and we should have enough to pay it off.
Okay, no problem. That shouldn't be a problem. I mean, I don't know why you could. I mean, if you can buy the land and build the house and be in it within 3 years, that shouldn't be an issue. What's the scary part?
The scary part is we don't have cash for all of the land purchase unless we sold our house and made some unusual move, which would probably leave you silent again, like buying an RV, selling our house, and living in it while we build with cash.
Mm-hmm.
So you're asking, is it okay to take out a loan to get the lot?
Correct.
Yeah.
You can. You're just adding debt to your situation. And anytime you add debt to your situation, you destabilize your situation even more. So I'm trying to think we would not do that. And so if I wouldn't do it, what would I tell you I would do?
But how does that come into play with the mortgage?
I know. You've just added debt. So what I would do is I would sell your current home and move to a rental, not an RV, move into a rental, and take the money from your home, buy the lot, get a construction loan, and start construction. Now you've got one mortgage, and you're renting until your house is completed. But instead of a home mortgage and a lot mortgage and waiting on all that, I would not keep piling up the debt like that. So that's actually the kind of thing that we did do, Sharon and I, many years ago. And so, that's how I would go at that. No, I would not just buy the lot, and no, I would not live in an RV, and no, I would not stay there in a cramped situation. I would be making plans to move to something else. But you can rent something
y'all did that for 2 years.
We did, and that got us into the home that you grew up in. Then is what it amounts to. We were there 13 years, and then in the next property, you were like 6 or 7 when we moved in. You left for college. You never lived in another house.
We lived in the rental first grade through third grade. My first through third grade, and then moved.
Yeah, that's right. And then, but you left there and went to college and never lived in another one of our houses again. So that's how we did it. In other words, it worked for us, and it lasted the move, and it was a nice home. It was a good home for the kids to grow up in. All right, Ben is in Dayton, Ohio. Hi, Ben. How are you?
I'm well, and how are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, I wanted to first start off by saying that my wife and I are 25, and we're on baby step 7, thanks to your tools. So thanks to you and the team for all the help.
Congrats, Ben. That's awesome. Man.
Good job.
Well, thanks. I'll keep it brief so I can respect your time. For funny money investing or investing that's less than 10% of your net worth, what is your opinion on 2 times and 3 times leveraged S&P 500 index funds?
I don't borrow money, so I don't leverage anything.
No, I'm sorry, not borrowing money like a leveraged account, but like an index fund that mimics 2 times what the actual index does.
Okay. I thought you were leveraging into this fund. Okay.
No, sir. Wouldn't borrow money again.
Okay. All right, good. Then we're back on the same page. I mean, if it's a small amount and you want to play with it, that's fine. I've not used that vehicle personally, so I can't tell you one way or the other about that part of it. But if it's something you've researched and you feel fine about, and like you said, it's less than 10% of your overall thing, it's like buying a stock. I don't buy stock, but if you want single stocks, but if you want to buy a single stock and it's less than 10% of your overall net worth, it's not going to affect you if it evaporates. And so it's fine to go ahead and try something like that at that point. But here's the thing you want to always do, okay? You never want to look for a get-rich-quick vibe on an investment. He who hastens to be rich will not go unpunished. And everyone who's trying to find a shortcut, everyone who's trying to get an angle, my wife always called it when I was doing it, she said, you're scheming and scamming. Stop that. Just be steady. Just be steady. You don't have to be super boring and just do a CD. That's not what I'm talking about. But any time that if you catch and I can still do it to this day, and I teach this stuff, I have to catch my spirit. And if my spirit is looking for a cheat code for investing, there's a way to get here that it's a little easier, it's a little faster, and it's and then you start to ignore the things that are going to, and you're going to get yourself in a pinch. And I've seen wealthy people make themselves poor doing that because they keep looking for that angle. They keep looking for the quick hit. And as long as you're not doing it with that spirit, that's a spirit. It's not a math thing. That's a way you feel about something. And that's my biggest problem when people are doing a lot of these weird investing things that they do just because it's faddish and it's big on the internet and some stupid Reddit thread or something like that. This is The Ramsey Show. Chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use NetSuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because NetSuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today here on The Ramsey Show. The new Rachel Cruz wallet is in, and it hasn't quite sold out yet, has it?
Nope. Few left, but it is a limited quantity that we did on this, so it's not going to stay around forever. But
what's the color? Rachel's favorite.
Champagne.
If they had a color called pizza, you would do it too.
It's beautiful. Shines, glistens. Oh, I mean, it's awesome. So, yes. So this wallet has envelopes that are sewn in. So you get 5 or 6, depending on how you kind of look at it. Envelopes for your categories for your cash. There's 10 card slots for debit cards, insurance cards, gift cards, all of that, membership cards. A place to put your change if you want that. A wrist slit that we added, which is beautiful. Oh, real leather. And we partnered with Join, a company or a nonprofit out of India, and they employ people that were coming out of really hardship type situations and giving them trade and skill, and now they can work, which is awesome too. So it's just a beautiful product, which I'm so excited about.
Should I make a joke about the slots being a little bigger for the money for inflation?
We added a little extra room this is the
inflationary wallet. We did not go up on the price, though, did we?
No.
We didn't? Mm-mm. Okay, so we're not participating in inflation.
Yes. So it's awesome. So yeah, my thought behind this whole wallet was, I was like, I had the envelopes and I had like clips that I did for so long and put in my own wallet that I liked versus like paper envelopes and all of that. And I thought, why don't we just create one? And anyways, very excited about it. So the new color
this company that joined, it's a very high quality product.
Yes, genuine leather, everything. Yep.
It does fit for International Women's Month here. So there you go.
That's right.
The new Rachel Cruz wallet, check it out at RamseySolutions.com.
You smell it?
How much are we selling it for?
You smell it?
No, I can't smell anything.
All of it.
Tennessee hay fever.
It changes, so just go to RamseySolutions.com and
the prices change.
The store, yes.
You just change them every day, or what?
Smelling out fast is what I was going to say.
Smelling out fast. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Broadcast excellence. All right.
It smells wonderful. So FYI.
Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. That means even if you mismeasure or you pick the wrong color, they'll remake your blinds for free. Free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best possible deal.
And today's question comes from Norman in Louisiana. This question has been a big debate in our home after reading your book. My fiance and I have 2 loans to pay, a student loan around $28,000, currently at 0% interest, and a car loan around $20,000 with 0% interest for the life of the loan. I think the student loan should be paid off first to take advantage of the 0 interest, since the auto loan has no interest at all. After reading your book, my fiance says paying off the auto loan first is the right way to go. Given the 2 loans, what would you recommend paying off? The auto loan would you still recommend paying the auto loan off first, utilizing the snowball method?
Neither. You should not be paying each other's debts. You're not married.
You jumped in. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry.
So, you're at this point, because you're not married, you guys should not be combining money. So paying on your own is the way to go. So let's just pretend, though, Norman, that both of these loans are yours. Then, yes, the debt snowball method is the way to go. So it would be paying off the car loan first. So in the mathematical sense, your fiance is correct. But depending on, again, whose loan or loans they are, is the person that should be paying. Because you've done this obviously longer than I have. The horror stories of even engaged couples with the intent of getting married, but you're paying on people, you're spending your savings on the fiance's debt, and then you end up not getting married. It just turns into a whole mess. We had one
just the other day that the person died in the middle, and they were married, and they had the house together, and now he owns a house with her mother. He owns a house with her father. I'm sorry. His fiance died in a car wreck. And they bought a house together. And so now he and her father own the house together. And talk about awkward and horrible and a bad situation and all that. So no, you do not combine money until you're married, and you do not buy things together until you're married with both of you's name on it, because you're creating a partnership in a legal sense, a general partnership. And unless you have full-on partnership documents that what occurs if one of you dies or is disabled or whatever, you get yourself in a real mess here. So, but back to the question, let's pretend you were married and these loans were just there, and back to the argument about the 0%, the 0%, the 0%. The 0% doesn't matter. What matters is you need to get the stinking loans paid off, both of them, as soon as possible. And so, they're both, if you lean into it, they're both going to be paid off so fast that the interest rate or the lack of an interest rate is not relevant. Mathematically, it's not going to create that much. And so, you get the car loan paid off as quick as you can because it's the smallest debt. And then you pay off the student loan as fast as you can because it's the next smallest debt. That's assuming that's assuming you were married or both of them were one of you, like yours, Norman, as an example. That kind of a thing. Mike's with us in Tampa. Hey, Mike, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave, how are you? Thank you for taking my call. I really appreciate it.
Sure. What's up?
I have been listening to you guys now for about a month, and I am absolutely hooked. I'm on a travel nursing assignment here in Miami, so I have nothing better to do with my free time but listen to you guys. My wife, I'm trying to get on board with everything, and the thought of us getting out of debt is scaring her to death. However, with that being said, last year we sold our home, and we were able to profit around $60,000 on the sale of the home. We spent $10,000 on some debt, and we have $50,000 sitting in our savings account, hopefully ready to put a down payment on another home. We have a friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, that is trying to convince us, and I'm not for or against it, I just don't know, I'm very neutral on it, trying to convince us to move that $50,000 out of our account as soon as we can and put it into precious metals to protect it or lose, but to protect it from anyone that might be trying to come in and steal it from us, if you will, from our checking or savings account.
You've got to be kidding me. This guy's a conspiracy theorist from now on, isn't he?
Sounds like my friends.
Just kidding.
Again, I don't know. Very neutral. Yeah. I don't know enough about it. I haven't done any research.
Well, I got to tell you, he's gone down the rabbit hole with Alice in Wonderland. I mean, there's just the chances of somebody stealing your $50,000 out of a checking account and out of a bank in the United States of America is very close to zero. That's absurd.
Okay.
That's crazy. That's crazy talk. I mean, and the chances of you losing your butt putting this into precious metals is very high. It's a good chance you're going to lose your butt. And so really, really bad advice. Any other advice this guy gives you, don't take it either, because he's really bad at advice. So are you talking about buying a home here in the U.S.? You're U.S. citizens or what? I'm hearing the accent.
Yes, I'm a green card holder. I'm, of course, eligible to purchase a home. But we have a little bit of debt that we need to pay off cars and 401k loan and such. But we were wondering, should we save the $50,000 to put down on a home before we get out of our vehicles and stuff like that, or should we take the $50,000 and put that on our vehicles and then try to cash flow on the home? Or just again, when you
how much debt do you have?
So I would say probably $70,000.
And what's your household income?
About. It's difficult to say right now, but probably this year I'm probably scheduled to make about 120.
Great. Okay. What we would tell you to do is to become debt-free as soon as possible, build an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses, and then build up your down payment, which will be fairly easy to do when you don't have any payments anymore. So no precious metals under any circumstances. Yes, pay off debt, become debt-free. It is the shortest distance between where you are and becoming wealthy. Appreciate you listening, Mike. Don't listen to this guy anymore. He's not smart.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at BethelTech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's BethelTech.net/Ken Coleman.
Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225 in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Amy is with us. Hi, Amy. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Where do you live?
Battle Creek, Michigan.
Battle Creek, Michigan. Home of Kellogg's, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. Very cool. Welcome to Nashville.
Thanks.
And here to do a debt-free scream, how much did you pay off?
$39,992.58.
Very cool. How long did this take you?
9 months and 8 days.
All right. And your range of income during that time?
No range, just $73,000.
Straight up. What do you do for a living?
I'm a forensic chemist and crime scene responder.
Ooh.
Wow. So what?
Interesting.
So you're called in.
Yes, for all the crime scenes.
Wow. Yep. It's an intense job, girl. Good for you, Amy.
There might be some crime podcast junkies in this building, and they might be sitting near me.
Some in there, too. Amy can give us everything. But, Amy, what an incredible job.
Yeah, wow.
Incredible.
Fun. So what kind of debt was your $40,000?
The first half was a car, a treadmill, and 2 credit cards and a refrigerator. The second half was a HELOC that I took out due to Murphy visiting before I was quite ready.
Oh, okay. So something happened 9 months ago. What was the wake-up call? What made you do this Ramsey stuff? Because you went after it when you went.
2020 happened.
There's that, yeah.
So professionally, our homicide rate tripled in our city. But personally, I had, other than that, the pandemic did not really impact me at all. But in January, I started out the new year with monotonsillitis and pink eye in both eyes at the same time.
Oh, my.
In February, my doctor told me that due to a chronic health condition that I've had since I was 16, he did not believe I'd ever have kids. My furnace broke. My air conditioner broke. I was diagnosed with skin cancer. And then my neighbor's tree fell on my house.
Good Lord, it's a country song.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot.
It was a lot. It was a lot at work with just being busy, but it was personally very overwhelming.
Yeah. Well, and you know, these I mean, you're a professional, you go into these scenes, but that's a lot too to see that much more tragedy.
Yes.
With the homicide rate increasing. So on top of that, all these personal things, boom, 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 boom. And you just said, I got to get rid of the debt. I mean, how does debt come up out of all of that?
Mainly because there was nothing I can control in 2020 except for my finances. So after the skin cancer diagnosis, the week of Christmas, I finally said 2020 was out of my control, and the only thing that I could control was my money. And so I bought the Total Money Makeover. I signed up for FPU in January.
Wow.
And by the time the class finished in March, I was completely debt-free of everything except for that HELOC, which I had not yet drawn on. But due to the damage of the house, it totaled $50,000. And the contractor had came to me and said, insurance hasn't paid enough. And so we need you to start paying. And then once we finish the job, you'll get reimbursed. So I maxed out the HELOC at $20,000, and then the insurance actually declined his final invoice. So I was on the hook. And so I was gazelle intense for the first 3 months to pay off the original consumer debt. And then I had to restart that gazelle intensity in May.
Oh, that's what you meant by the first and the second half. Okay.
Yeah, so I kind of had to pause because I anticipated getting paid back everything. And when I did not.
Why did they deny his invoice?
They had agreed to pay quite a bit of money, but insurance had said that basically he did upgrades to the house that they didn't approve of. So it was simple things as far as switching from aluminum siding was no longer available. So he switched it to vinyl, which was a lot cheaper, and they didn't agree with that. So I was on the hook for a lot more money than I anticipated. So my gazelle intensity had to restart in May in order for me to finish by October then.
Wow.
So what was that like? I mean, I'm sure devastating.
Man, that's a kick.
But then, like, what did you feel like you kind of put your anger and your frustration towards that process?
Yes, it was a lot. It was overwhelming as far as the roofing shingles. Of course, they were out of stock and didn't have what insurance would cover, so I had to pay more to get what was in stock. Choosing the siding color, choosing the whole inside, which some of my pictures showed. The drywall on the interior was all wet, so they had to rip out several sections of the drywall and replace it all. All the light fixtures needed to be replaced. So it was a lot of decision making that being single and that was all on me to decide. So it was just basically 8 months of a lot of construction and just overwhelming.
How's your health right now? How are you doing health-wise? Because that's a lot of health stuff you had too.
Yes, doing all right. Yeah.
Good. Wow.
You're incredible.
Yeah, you've come through a lot. This is, the $40,000 in debt pales to comparison to everything else you've done. I mean, that's amazing. So very well done. Well done. You're a warrior woman. No question about it. Good stuff. Okay, in the middle of all of this, this was your insurance company?
Yes.
Okay. Have you contacted an attorney?
No. I talked to my contractor. I think a lot of it, too, was miscommunication between the two of them. So I did spend a good month fighting to get some of the money back, but not all of it. And a lot of it was just due to a lack of communication between the contractor and the adjuster during the process.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I think I'm getting a different insurance company, too. Yeah, changing my homeowner's insurance for sure. And I'm tempted to ask you who it was, but I'm going to leave it alone.
Stop. I know. I was like, I don't want to talk about insurance. I'll talk about Amy.
Leave it alone. No, I know, but I mean, she's been pooped on by an insurance company, so
it's true.
It's unbelievable. I can't stand insurance companies anyway. So, oh my gosh, wow, way to go.
Well, in spite of them.
Yeah, you fought through it all.
I know,
You're amazing. You're a hero. I mean,
I usually
you knocked
ask
it out.
what's the hardest part, but there's a lot of hard parts. I know.
The
So I don't want to ask that question.
Now, what do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
I wrote this down. So sacrifice and ownership, like I had said earlier, there's so much out of my control, but finances were a part of something I could control. And so once I took responsibility, where I was in life was my choice. I was in debt, and that was one of my decisions that I had made. And once I took the responsibility and ownership of that, it was a lot easier to sacrifice. I think the hardest part for me was I traveled a lot to see my family. They live a couple hours away. And so I cut that out. So that's the hardest part for me, was to not go and see them. But yeah, it was a lot easier to make the sacrifices that I needed to once I took that responsibility.
Yeah. So who were your biggest cheerleaders?
My twin sister over here is my accountability partner.
All right. And
then my mom, who actually would send me stuff in the mail with a little cash to go get that, pop that I know you can't afford. And so yeah, they were definitely big motivators for me.
I love it.
That's great.
I love it. Well done. Well, you're a hero. I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
Great work. Really great work. We got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires. That's the next chapter in your story. You can fight through this. You can fight through anything. Mm-hmm. And when you take it, put the shoulders back like that and say it's my responsibility, that's a big part of the whole healing process. So very, very well done. Very well done. Also a copy of Total Money Makeover, which started the whole thing for you. And you can give that away to somebody and go, this is how I did it. This is how I paid off $40,000 in 9 months in spite of all the unbelievable year that you've had. Wow. Pretty cool. All making $73,000. All right. Amy from Battle Creek, Michigan. She did it. She's a warrior. $40,000 paid off in 9 months, making $73,000. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. I'm debt-free!
Yeah! I love it.
She has such this sweet, calming voice. I was like, I wonder what her debt-free scream's gonna be. And man, she did it.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh man.
Well, with what she's been through, she deserves a belt of a scream.
Absolutely.
Absolutely amazing. So the moral of the story is make sure your contractor and your insurance company are working together.
I know. It's heartbreaking.
Ouch.
That is like life though, right?
It piles up.
But we talk about too, sometimes the baby steps, some of the most defeating things is when you have to go back and forth, because life happens, right? And it's one of those, but I love that she just still grinded it. It's like, okay, this is happening and I'm going to do it. I mean, and sacrificed the numbers too on this.
Ooh, man, she kicked it.
Pretty incredible.
Kicked it hard.
It's awesome.
It's pretty amazing. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Proverbs 17:22. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Tom Landry said, confidence comes from knowing what you're doing. If you're prepared for something, you usually do it. If not, you usually fall flat on your face. Well, that would be true. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life and your money. Joanne is in West Palm Beach. Hi, Joanne. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave and Rachel. Thank you so much for all you do for us people. And I am feeling so blessed that you took my call today.
Well, we're honored. How can we help?
You're wonderful.
Okay, so I'm 62 years old, and I got some problems. I am in about $80,000 in debt, of which $17,500 is car, $31,000 is HELOC, and $29,000 is credit card. I am a Christian. I want to pay my bills. I don't want to make anybody, I don't want to screw anyone over. I'm just having a hard time. And oh, by the way, I have $13,000 cash. I've been saving some cash because there's a lot of wonkiness going on in our world today, and I'm scared. I'm frightened. I'm very frightened. And I lived past the 2008 debacle, which almost made me homeless. But the Lord, my Lord Jesus Christ, sent me someone who helped me get a loan modification. God is so good. And
that's amazing. What's your household income?
My household income is wonky because I'm in sales. Last year I made $58,000, but this year I see that what I'm making now, I'm on track to make $10,000 less, and I think it's because people are afraid to spend money.
Well, they're spending it like crazy on some things. So how old are you?
I'm going to be 63 in June, and I know I'm never going to be able to retire because I don't have all but just this $13,000 in cash. So I just want to do what's best.
Okay. All right. Well, what we would tell you is that you can retire. You're not going to retire soon, but and if I'm in your shoes, I'm going to get really geared up on my sales job, and instead of taking $10,000 less, I'm going to make $10,000 more. Because I'm going to get geared up with some serious goals and start plowing my way through this debt so that I can start investing so I have a nest egg. And if you did that for the next, 5, 6, 7 years, I think you not only would be debt-free, have an emergency fund, but you also could have the beginnings of a nest egg. You're not going to be worth millions of dollars, but you could get really, really stable. But it's going to require a lot of hard work and diligence on your part to do that. And so the way we teach people to do that is called the baby steps. We'll send you a copy of the book, The Total Money Makeover, to show you how to do those. But Rachel, I think she can do it.
Oh, absolutely. And Joanne, it's going to sound like a little bit of a mind shift, though, for you, because you have a lot of credit card debt, which says something to me, right? I don't know if you're spending money just to acquire. I don't know if this is to help pay your bills. I don't know what that credit card debt is, but there's a lot there. You have $17,000 car loan. You could sell the car and reduce some of this debt by just doing that. And looking, but the way you've been living, just by the numbers you've given me, it's a little bit all over the place, and it doesn't feel extremely sharp and organized. So like Dave just said, I'm like, I would take on an extra job. Your job in sales, that's right. Have the mindset of like, hey, I'm going to make more this year, not less. I'm not going to settle for anything more. And you go in and make a larger income this year, and then you're going to tighten up your budget, and you're going to start working your way out of this debt. And it's going to take a lot of intentionality, strictness, and even from your voice, you sound so kind, Joanne, so kind. But I want you to be a little bit more on your money and in your situation. You know what I mean? A little bit of grit in there to have some level of forward motion into the baby steps. But again, don't give up. I mean, the age, I understand, can be defeating because you feel like you're 62 and you just have your $13,000 and that's it. But if you start working this process, it's going to take a little bit, but you can see progress.
I think you can be debt-free and have $100,000 to $200,000 in the bank in 7 years. But you're going to have to make more, and you're going to have to be very, very diligent. We're going to teach you baby step one's $1,000. So wonkiness in the world or not, I'm going to have $1,000 set aside. I'm going to put $12,000 towards your smallest debts, listing your debts smallest to largest, and that's probably those credit cards. They're probably individual cards. It's probably not one $29,000 card. So we're going to list those out, and we're going to use that $12,000 towards those smallest ones. We're going to cut them all up, and we're going to get on a budget, living on a plan, and working the plan, working the plan, working the steps, working the plan, working the steps. And again, we'll show you how to do that with the Total Money Makeover book. And if you just use that as this is the process. This is what we do. This is the process. Nothing else. This is the process. I've got to work the plan. I've got to work the plan. Then you'll be able to push through and get moving in the right direction. So, hey, good call. Thank you for joining us. Braden is with us in Tulsa. Hi, Braden. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. How are you doing?
Good, man. What's up?
Good. I just have a concern. I feel kind of like my wife and I are drowning. We have a 2-year-old, and we're expecting another baby in October.
You are drowning.
And
yeah. Congrats, Braden.
It's awesome, man.
Thank you.
That's great. But wow, what a house full of love. There's a lot going on here.
Definitely. Onto the drowning part. My wife and I, she's a teacher. I just work part-time because I'm trying to go to school full-time. And we make about $50,000 a year. And that turns out to be about $3,600 a month. And we have a $1,000 mortgage payment. We budget $400 for groceries, and our total debt payments are about $1,000. We have $10,000 in credit card debt, $24,000 in student loans that we're paying on right now, $10,000 in card loans, and all of that just leaves us with very minimal.
Oh yeah, you got no room in this budget. Yeah. So when do you graduate?
Yeah. I graduate in fall 2023. So in a year and a half, basically.
In what?
In human resources management.
Okay. You got a tough 18 months ahead of you. You got a lot going on. Babies, young marriage, debt coming out your ears. Your house payment's too big. Your other debts are too big. Yeah, you are overwhelmed. I don't blame you. I get it. I see how you feel drowning. But you're gonna work an extra job a lot more than you are now. You've got to get your income up, or something's going to have to give. And the something may be selling the house, it may be selling the car, it may be selling both of them. But the numbers you're giving me are not sustainable. That's why you feel like you're drowning.
Yeah. We have $10,000 for 2 cars. So my wife and I both have a car.
Yeah, okay. You've not got super expensive cars, but a $1,000 house payment on a $3,600 take-home pay is not sustainable. Now you can do that for 18 months, but you're going to have to be door dashing and delivering pizzas and some other stuff. You are going to have a bizarre schedule. Y'all are going to be exhausted at the end of this 18 months, but at least then you'll be able to go get a job making $50,000 or $60,000.
Staying afloat for the 18 months.
If you can hang on, do something ridiculous to hang on for the 18 months and get out the other side, you can make it. But you're not even going to make it 18 months with what you got right in front of you. Something's going to give. Hang on, we're going to put you through Financial Peace University as our gift. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace.
Hey, it's
Christ
Rachel Cruz,
Jesus.
co-host on The Ramsey Show. If you want to do your debt-free scream live on the show, visit RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream. We'd love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story. That's RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream.